can't pick out what color they're gonna be out when you have them, but when they come out, they're yours. You can't deny them, so you take care of them.
Yes,
So you
sir.
take care of what's yours, and you treat every. And when your kids, when you have your kids, when they have friends, you can't tell them, hey, you can't have this one over, you can't have that one over. You just welcome everybody. So you're friends with everybody. So that's how we are. We just intrigue everybody, take care of what we got, and share what we got,
Yes, sir.
and help out who we can. And
Wow.
that's our motto. We try to help out everybody.
And that brings me to the great question that we have with our young leaders. We are not just helping kids to do careers, stuff like that, but we do big on helping them to understand how to
Right.
help the community.
Yeah.
And so with the holidays coming up, we'll talk with them a little bit about like how are they going to decide what Christmas gifts they're going to get people, how they're going to pay for them, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But we also are always interested in ways that our young leaders can help veterans, and
Right.
it may not they may not need
Ooh,
the
yes.
help, but
Yes.
is there a way though, like that they can volunteer? I know, like with the other organization you've introduced us to, they might serve meals, but we're always trying to connect our young leaders to our elders.
Right.
Veterans of Foreign Wars and Veterans of Foreign Wars Auxiliary.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Absolutely. So, are there thoughts of, well, not even thoughts, because you know the answers. Are there ways that our young people could assist with, like you said, how you all try to make sure that you're
Mhm.
helping each other, and
Oh,
young
yeah.
people? Are there ways that they can help?
That's
Well,
good.
I remember when I was coming up, when I was coming up back in the '70s, when the vets, the vets, they were coming out the Vietnam War, and we didn't really do too much because we heard the bad things about them.
Mhm.
So we just stood back. So sometimes, especially with a vet like me, what I'm going through, sometimes it's just best to stand back and just hear what we got to say.
Right. Okay, thank you. Because
Just
I was
listen,
like,
yeah.
I thought you say don't come near. So you
No,
yeah.
no, just sit back and hear, just hear
Listen.
what we got to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's good. And so I think in order, and thank you, for us to do that, we'd have to understand how we are, how we are able to connect. Like, is there like a day where maybe like Thanksgiving, there could have been like maybe a big dinner or something, and people that can come and eat and listen. So how do we learn more about how we even kind of get to sit with you and listen? I mean, I know we're doing it now,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
how, meaning at this moment, but how else?
Yes.
Because we try to make it to where our young leaders, they do things with frequency, because the more that they build relationships and, get wisdom, then they have something to look forward to too, like visiting or learning and stuff like that.
It's kind of hard to say to me because everybody's different.
Yes.
Some people don't want to be bothered, and some people.
That's what I thought you were
Yeah.
saying when he says that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people don't want to be bothered with me. I'm just like,
Yes.
when you see me out on the street, yeah, we'll talk, but don't follow me at home.
Yes, yes,
That's basically how I am. Yeah, when you see me out on the streets, we'll talk, but
absolutely.
it's just everybody's different, though.
People are different.
Yeah.
And thank you for saying it that way, because what we find with our young people quite a bit is sometimes they want to do something, but they really don't know how to approach.
Oh yeah.
They don't know what to do, so then they end up then doing nothing, where sometimes they want to do something, but we just don't know how. And then we have people say, well, young people don't care. Or the young people say, well, they don't want to be bothered.
Good
So, but
point.
there's a way,
Yeah.
and it could be writing letters, because I sent our young people a website on how to volunteer and help veterans. So they may have some ideas too, once they're able to chime in. Are they connected?
They haven't joined yet.
So they're waiting. They've texted me like 4 times.
Oh, that's great. And one of the things, if
They have the new
you
link?
are invited
I
to a
did. I
school,
sent it to
for
them, the one I sent
instance,
last week.
would that be something you'd be willing to do, to go to a school and talk to young people?
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
That's good. Because when you say to me that your benefits are being addressed, you and I know that a lot of times there is criticism, for instance, of the VA.
Oh, yeah.
And it is good for us, for younger veterans, to understand that you are being attended to. And they need to understand how the system works, I guess. So thank you for that excellent review.
Oh, yeah.
That makes a big difference. And when I had the privilege of being in Vietnam, I was not serving. I was singing. We did
Right,
USO shows, and we developed such a profound respect for those who were serving.
Right.
How close were you to serving in Vietnam?
Oh, no, I wasn't born until
Right,
64.
because you were
so-
talking about the 70s.
But the 70s, I can remember them coming home.
Right.
And how they talked about them. And they talked about them bad. Baby
Yes, sir.
killers and stuff like that. They didn't have a good name when they came home.
Do you find that they're getting more respect now than
Oh,
they
yeah.
did?
They get a lot more respect now.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Please go ahead.
No, thank you. Because I was going to ask which war you served in. You know, because my dad was in Vietnam. I guess he served, I guess, 64 to 67. So that's the reason you said
Yep.
64. But you see, you were born 64.
Yeah.
So,
So I was born active duty. I was active duty 84 with Reagan. I just had basic training then 87 and 90 Afghan. I was active duty doing Afghan, but I wasn't overseas. I was here. Then I was.
but you could have been called to go any
Yeah,
minute.
right. Right.
That's active duty. I know I've been in the military, so
Yeah.
that's what that means. Like you could have been called any minute
Any minute, yeah.
to go, and so
One of the things that stands out, Sister Rebecca Bradley, the acronym NABVETS, it is Association of Black Veterans. Do you find since, I don't know, how long have you been out of active?
Been out of the military since 2010.
Are we doing a better job where race relations are concerned?
Somewhat better.
13 years later.
Yeah, somewhat better.
You think so? That's good. That's good, because there are ways we are going to have to work together, as a matter of fact, because of today's politics, because of today's education, because of today's economics, all of those things coming together. It is helpful that we all work together.
Right. Right.
And I think that when young people meet you, that can be an inspiration to them to see that you continue to overcome. And race is less a factor than understanding the system that we are dealing with in 2023.
Right. Right.
So one of the things that I am a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars Auxiliary.
Right.
Are the young people ready with us yet, or not yet?
They should be coming in soon.
Okay, very good. I am privileged to be able to be with the Veterans of Foreign Wars Auxiliary. That means that even though I'm a civilian, my oldest brother was in Korea, so he
Right.
was a veteran of the Foreign War, so I'm with the Auxiliary. This is what I have observed looking at VFW Post 8100. Most who are members are older. And when I first started on this journey of exploring, one of the white gentlemen who was on the program made the statement that people think of VFW as old white men smoking cigars at the VFW hall and playing bingo.
Right.
do you know of anything that might make it more attractive to younger veterans to become involved in VFW and those kinds of things, and perhaps younger black veterans, male and female?
Well, at first this was considered to be a thing for vets. You know,
Yes, sir.
it was like it's like joining a baseball club, and you all needed baseballs, or baseball bats, and you ask somebody to join your baseball club, and he don't have any tennis shoes. So
Mm.
why would you ask that kid
Wow.
to join your baseball club? He ain't got no tennis shoes. He can't afford a baseball bat. He can't afford a baseball club.
Yes, sir.
So why would he want to join your veterans organization? He has nothing to do with your veterans organization.
Mhm.
You're a vet,
Wow.
and you're joining this club because the other vets.
And
So
yes, sir.
that's why you join because your brother. You got
Yes.
similarities because your brother. You had brothers.
Yes,
But
sir.
it's going to be hard for other people to join because what are they getting into it for?
Wow.
So they got to have a reason why they got to join. So
That's
it's always
a-
got to be a reason. It's got to be
Like
a reason.
that family connection.
Please.
There's something
Yeah.
to understand the conversations, but also to understand the needs and the plights.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
reason why you
Yeah.
want to be there. What's going to draw me to keep me going there?
Yes, indeed. Sidney Malone, when I first met Sidney Malone, and I think it might be Pastor McClendon, I'll think of it, but he's with American Legion 149.
Right.
Oh,
I know
I'm
who you
sorry.
talking about. I know who you talking about.
Yes, sir. So when I think in terms of those formal organizations, in addition to National Association of Black Veterans, I think about how important it is that young people support them today for what they did, even if it's not in a formal organization, if
Right.
it doesn't. You met, as he was going out, Commander Gerald Caldwell,
You're right.
and he is former commander of Post 8100, and we've had the occasion to speak, for instance, to students at Paseo High School.
Right.
And the young people are surprisingly enthusiastic just to meet those who have served and are serving, particularly when they are in uniform. And some of us have become almost jaded, as it were. We don't expect that. But I wonder, are you ever surprised once it is found out how much respect young people have for you? Because sometimes I am, that they are so, for instance, Valencia's group, the young people who are trying to join us now, have that respect. And I don't know, but Attorney...
They're texting me, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. I was going to say, Attorney Broadus, are you ever surprised at how respectful young people are of those who serve?
No, I'm not. I'm not surprised in general at how respectful our young people are. Because what I found is, meaning with anyone, it's really situational, depends on circumstances. Because when young people, when they know that they're with you or with me, but they know they're with you, they really do understand how they're supposed to act.
Thank you.
They really do.
Thank you.
Now, do they do it or not? That's different. That depends on your relationship with them.
But you are so
when
right.
they're with you,
Come on.
and we're going to talk to you or do something, they know the crossover. they know how to act, and so that's why I'm not, as long as they're prepared and stuff like that, they know, and we have to keep. That's the reason we want to keep putting them in positions to where they practice knowing how to act.
Brother
Makes any
LeBron,
sense.
if she were just older, you would accuse us of having been separated at birth because we think so much alike. And I'll tell you what I mean, Attorney Broadus. Some years ago, on another station, had a program with teenagers called the Generation Rap.
Right.
And people would call in, the youngsters would call in, and this is a true story, Attorney Broadus. There were people who would say to me, man, I am surprised at how smart these young people are. And my response was, I'm not.
That's right.
They've got it. And when you have somebody like Attorney Broadus who taps into your full potential,
Right.
go ahead.
Oh, no,
Like
go
you were
ahead.
going to say something to
I'm
He
agreeing
leaned in,
with
he had
you.
a thought.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yes, sir. That we had those who indeed would do that. Now, here's another story. Watch out, DeQuay. I got another story. But Wanda and I took a group of 29 teenagers to Chicago with 13 adult chaperones, 42 people. And we were getting ready to go, and we had a meeting at Zion Grove Baptist Church. And the parents and the young people were asking what was expected of them. So I got up to make the speech. This was my speech. Do what you always do. And I sat down.
Because you know what they do with you.
I mean, when we left Chicago, this is a true story. There was a security guard at the Ramada Inn where we stayed. He said, Mister, I have never seen young people act the way these young people act. And the manager said, if you ever want them to come back, we will help make arrangements for them. Our young people suffer from low expectations.
That's right, because they will rise to the high ones. They will rise to high expectations, but it's up to us to put the bars up there.
Yes, ma'am.
Consistent.
Come on.
And
Yes.
when we don't, that's when they get relaxed and depending on, so who am I with today? Let me see how I gotta act. They get confused. You know what I mean? I
Thank
should
you.
act this way today, this way today.
Watch out.
They might in classrooms. Sometimes you can have your phone, sometimes you can't. Sometimes they let you curse, sometimes they don't. In school.
Yes.
So kids get confused. And if they don't remember where they are, sometimes they slip up and curse. I mean, you think about,
Yes.
but when they remember, oh, I'm sorry. They'll say, oh, I'm sorry. But you did it, which means you forgot where you were.
Yes.
It's
Wow. That is so true. And Brother LeBlanc, it's kind of interesting because we went back to the 70s or something like that. But I'm just curious. You haven't told us how old you are, but by reference to those years, we have a pretty good idea
Yes.
that you're not a teenager. That's
Oh,
probably
yeah. I'm 59,
yes.
and I remember the times of the curfew back here, back
Yes,
in
sir.
the 60s. Kansas City's come a long way.
good.
Kansas City's come a long way.
Yes, sir.
It's they do every so often they do a little I call it redecoration.
Yes, sir.
They change this part of the city, then come by and change that part of the city, and change this part of the city, and it's Kansas City just over the years just has intrigued me because it's a multicultural
Yes.
city. It's Chicago. I heard you from Chicago, because Chicago was the same way. Many different cultures. That's just how. I mean, to me, no matter if you go to Kansas City or Chicago, you're going to find different cultures
Yes,
you
sir.
got to deal with.
Without a doubt. And so many people, I'm older than you, and you being older than they, how often we have these conversations about, oh, these young people today.
Right.
Well, certainly you would expect that they would be different than young people from yesterday. But do you find yourself more encouraged than distressed? How do you look at young people today, and are we in good hands?
Oh, well, I think it's just different.
Yes, sir.
They're going to be different. And then when they get my age, they're going to look down on the younger people, their time different. So it's just going to be different. No matter what time you're going to look at it, it's just going to be different.
Absolutely.
And you can't stress yourself out over it.
Ooh.
Because when we was coming up, our folks looked at us different. Oh, I can remember my mom. And she made it through with us, so
Yes.
we'll make it.
And it is extremely important for our young people to understand that when we have this propensity for talking about the way things used to be, I just think maybe we weren't perfect back there ourselves.
Right.
Right.
But our young people are learning more faster.
Oh yeah,
It's
definitely.
you were so kind coming on today with short notice, and while you were waiting for us, we were coming from upstairs talking to Mr. Louis George Walker, who is the gentleman who founded KUAW.org, and we had a conversation about young people and drones, of all things.
Right.
Now, go ahead.
No, I was just laughing because it's like, yes. There's I help do tutoring, whatever sometimes, and so there was young person that I was working with, and it was like, I'm not here to be tutored. I said, oh, what are you here to do? He said, well, I'm here for the robotics program. I said, oh, okay. But he was in the tutoring session.
Thank you.
And I was like, okay. So, but since you're here with me, so we have this conversation. And so we do a lot of career clubbing. So, he wasn't as participatory in telling me about him because he was
Yes.
like, I don't want to be here. I'm trying to wait for my... Anyway.
Mm.
But he was very nice about it.
Okay,
He wasn't
okay,
disrespectful.
well, that
it
was
wasn't that.
good, okay.
It was just, he wouldn't
Okay.
participate in the tutoring. But at first. So once we were able to talk about that, and I asked him if he knew Mr. Walker, and all these, we kept asking all these questions. We asked him all these questions, and he would be like, I said, well, let me just ask you this. What do you like about drones? But no, I said robotics. I said, what do you like about the robotics? And
Yes.
he says, I don't know. So I said, do you like this or this or this? I'm throwing out stuff. And he says, yeah, I like that. I like
Uh-huh.
I had to know enough about the robotics and the drone. That's why I'm laughing. But only from listening to Mr. Walker do I know enough to keep asking these questions. So finally I said, you want to be a mechanical engineer? Is that what you're thinking about? Because he wouldn't tell me
Yeah.
his name or nothing, He said, well, yeah. I said, I thought so. I bet you later. Well, then everything changed. So I was able to talk to him. But it was
Absolutely.
funny because we have to listen to each other as well. It takes a village. And I don't do drones or nothing, but because I listened enough to what they might be doing in robotics, I had to go in and meet that young man where he was.
Absolutely.
Because what we was doing was not relevant to his intelligence. It was like, I don't know why I'm even here. I'm waiting for my class. Oh, yes, ma'am. Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
This is so wonderful. You are listening to Attorney Valencia Broadus. She has a smart club, and we have a very special guest in Brother Tim LeBlanc. And Attorney Broadus just made me think about something. Before you were in the military, as a young person, were you interested in engineering?
No, I was more into electronics.
Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting because just like her conversation evolved into what it became, you had the opportunity to kind of hone your interest and see how that fit into how many years did you serve, did you say?
11 and a half years.
Oh, 11 and a half years.
Right.
Wow. So did you do other kinds of things other than that engineering orientation? Are the young people ready yet? Because
And it'll be great because they both have an interest in engineering. So these two particular young people.
That is
if we
great.
can get them to come on. They're trying. They were just
We're working on it.
Yeah, and you are. No, and I told them they know that too. So they're still, you know what? Expectation is that they wait. And they wait.
Yes,
they
ma'am.
wait. See,
Absolutely.
They've been on there since one. Just And that's the piece that they understand. This
Yes.
is what we do, and they keep saying, we're,
I'll get back to that, but just in terms of
amen.
different kinds of responsibilities
Right.
and how your interest picked up or going in one direction or an unexpected direction, those kinds of things. It appears to me that the military is willing, more than willing, to make sure that you are efficient at what you do.
Yeah, you gotta. Well, all you gotta be is a willing person, willing to do, willing to get there and do it.
Yes, sir.
And I tell anybody, I know some young folks get tired of school or they get tired of living on the streets and they figure they go back to military because it's 3 meals a day, somewhere to sleep.
So you would recommend it?
Yeah.
We have our
And,
kids.
There they are.
Aha.
Thank you,
Attorney
awesome
brought us.
young leaders.
Bring us in.
I just want to
Hello.
say, first of all, thank you both for waiting and giving us time to work it out, because y'all could have just said, "Okay, Ms. B, we go." I really, really, really appreciate you guys being there to allow us to kind of work this out. So, Mr. Micah, if you can, come on, kind of plug in with us, and there you are, and we'll let us see your eye. There you go. Hello. Okay, so these are two awesome young people, Mr. Xavier and Mr. Micah. They both want to be engineers, and I start with that because we have an awesome young man here in the studio with Mr. Boyd and I, who in the military worked doing being an engineer, and so I wanted to make sure that because I know our time won't be as long because you guys are just getting in with us. But again, thank you again. But I wanted to make sure that you guys know a little bit about Mr. LeBlanc, and I'll share a few thoughts. He is a member with the National Association of Black Vets, and something that I have not talked with you guys about before, that is particular association. But also is in the military, in the Army, and has worked through his life as, of course, engineering. He talked about working a little bit with the automotive side in the military, like the rigs and stuff. I think you had said working to
Driving.
drive a CDL, so different things there. But also, Mr. LeBlanc and I, we've talked a little bit about, what are some of the ways that because we know veterans in our lives and stuff, sometimes we may want to help in some way. And how do we help veterans as far as young people trying to do our duty, service learning, and all that? And who better to help than people who sacrifice their lives for us? But how do we help? How do we make it happen? So we talked about that a little bit before you guys came in. So I wanted to give you guys that background, because I know what you guys have done some reading. You'll tell us about that a little bit. Read some articles and stuff. We've been looking at, as the holidays are coming up, how do we make sure we buy for the right people, but also how do we afford it? And how else do we do our part in learning to be great citizens and just help people who might need help or who might just like our company? So I'm saying all that, I'm putting all that out there, and then we'll kind of dive in and out to say hello. But if you guys can, please, as you know how it is, kind of just say who you are and what you've been up to, and then we'll get to some questions after that. Is that okay? All right.
All right.
All right. Mr. Micah, start us off. Tell us about you and what you've been up to.
My name is Micah. I'm a junior at De La Salle, and recently, like just yesterday, I took my ACT practice test, and yeah, and I'm on the basketball team, so that's what I just been up to.
Do we get invited to the
keeping my-
basketball games? Are you gonna invite us?
Sure, I can do that.
Please, I play basketball. I've told you, I like basketball. But we want to come and support you, so be sure and let us know when your games are. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent, excellent. No,
Excellent.
thank you, and we'll come back to you, Mr. Xavier.
My name is Xavier Senior, and I'm in 8th grade at Menard Campbell Middle School. And what I've been up to was preparing for my orchestra concert Monday night.
Your concert? Tell us, because Mr. Boyd, he was like, huh? So tell us about your
Yeah,
concert coming up.
I'd
Tell
like
us.
to know.
It's my chamber group concert and orchestra. It's basically like my teacher always said, the best of the best of the orchestra group.
He said best of the best.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
What is your instrument, please?
The double bass and the bass.
Oh, wow.
Amen. And thank you. And I know you both, you both want to be engineers, so we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But I wanted first for Mr. LeBlanc to know kind of just who you are, and just to be able to from there be able to share. But they both are interested in engineering, period, and they know that's what they want to do. So they're doing things in life to make sure that they're trying to reach that goal through academics and meeting people and stuff like that. So, Mr. LeBlanc, any questions that you have for them, or anything that they should know about, that they should be thinking about as far as being engineers?
Well, for one, it's you talk about getting an engineer degree. You got to do a lot of studying. Don't get sidetracked. Make sure that's what you want to do, because
That's important.
yeah, it's just when a person goes to lay the garden, he wants to make sure he's going to lay that garden, plant all that food, because when he gets to harvest, if you don't take care of it, you won't get a big harvest. So
Wow.
Y'all know what he means by that? About the garden and the harvest? That's okay, but there was a very good analogy. So, we can dig in deeper and share a little bit.
Well, see, I'm a preacher, so
Uh-huh. I didn't know that. That makes sense.
but man, stick with it. A lot of times I got away from what I wanted to do because I got discouraged. But stick with it. Stick with what you want to stick with.
Praise God.
And when you stick with it, that's what I'm trying to tell you about that garden. Stick with it. Cultivate it. And when you cultivate it, hang in there,
That's good.
you'll get something out of it.
That's right. The sun, the
Hang with
water,
it.
the studying, everything.
Oh yeah, late night hours, man. Some nights you'll be up 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. The next thing you know, the daylight doesn't hit again. You said, "Oh no, it's time to go to sleep." But you got to go back to work.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
for 2 or 3 days. You'll figure it out. You're young now. You're in your prime your life now. But wait after a while. Wait till you get in your 30s and your 40s, and you say, look back to where you was 20 or 21. You had to stay up all night, all night.
All night.
The all-nighters. And I know thank you, Mr. LeBlanc, Pastor LeBlanc. So there we go, change that.
Yes.
But it's being able to definitely, both of our young leaders here, they're serious about school, they're really smart, they like the math and the science. And I was telling a group earlier, tutoring, even if you don't love math and science, at the end of the day, you got to be good at it. And so, and they know that. People are like, I know. As long as you know that to get to that dream, seriously, that career dream, that you got to be great at it, and you guys are doing that. You guys are always working hard. You're always making it happen. And like you said, your ACT as a junior, taking that's great, because getting into school you want to get into. I know Mr. Michael wants to go to school in Atlanta. Is that still true, Mr.
Yes. The colleges that I want to go to is either, well, so far it's either Georgia Tech and no,
Yeah.
it's Georgia Tech and the University of Arlington in Texas.
Yes.
All right.
Because we try to explore that a little bit with them so that
That's
we're always
good.
thinking, and then what ACT is needed, scholarship money. Because the last thing we want, and these two young men, they help me a lot talk about financial literacy and stuff. That's what we're talking about, money and gifts. And because, it's Christmas time. So whether it's your family or your, people, your girlfriends or, stuff like that, people always want these gifts and stuff. But we can't be going broke. We need to be working and saving our money. So, what are other ways we can, especially as a young person, what are other ways or things we can do to make sure we're not getting into debt? Because holidays are a time when people do it. People max out credit cards and everything.
Yes.
Because we're always thinking about right now, trying to be smart with our money so that we don't get in there, so we can be millionaires later in life. Like, always trying to think now responsibly about spending and stuff. And Christmas is a big time when people go way out.
Yes.
Amen. Nobody goes way out, but people's choices. But I think about our young people in this way of, like, you may have a list of, like, parents, siblings, or whatever you may want to buy gifts for. How are you deciding how you're going to buy all these gifts for everyone, Mike and Xavier? Because people expect gifts, don't they? How you?
Who's gonna step up first? How are you gonna buy the gifts?
And we can even say, or do you think about buying gifts for people right now, like your parents and stuff? And maybe you can even make things. That's why I want to talk about. Sometimes we don't have to spend a lot of money. It could be even doing it where we're making things for people, something like that. So,
Wow.
any thoughts you have will be awesome.
Well, from where I'm at and how my like Christmas has been going for the past few years, I say, yeah, it's cool. You can buy stuff, but that's not all you can do.
Who's gonna
Because
step
my
up
mama,
first?
she makes
How are you gonna buy the gifts?
that's not all you can. But she make candles.
Who's gonna
Because
step up
my mama,
first?
she makes.
How
I
are
think
you gonna buy the
that would be
gift?
a good gift.
that's
Like,
not all you
and I feel
can.
like she make candles.
Who's gonna
Because
step
if it's
up
made, she makes.
That makes sense.
And I think that.
Sorry about that. I think it was doing double talk. I apologize. Okay.
It was because we have the Facebook app open now, and so we had audio from that. We want to point out that we do have a viewer on the Facebook platform, and she sent us a shout out. So we just want to respond to her. So we had the chat open, and that's where we heard the double talk.
Amen. Okay, good. I knew Mr. Mike. I knew they were like, what's going on? No, thank you. Still, no, thank you. So, Mr. Micah, I'm going to ask you to continue a little bit because I liked hearing about, like you mentioned, your mom, she makes candles and does those for people. Again, making stuff with our hands and giving them, that's such a blessing, And so, but it's teaching you something too about definitely using your hands to make gifts that people will appreciate. It sounds like to me.
And me personally, I like to spend my holidays just hanging out with my family. We all just connected and just bonding.
Yes, spending time. I agree. Oh, I agree. Mr. Xavier, thank you, Mr. Micah. Mr. Xavier, tell us about, do you think a lot about buying gifts for people, or do you see holidays, especially Christmas, as a time you can do the time and talent more than spending a lot of money? What do you think, Mr. Xavier?
A little bit of both. I used an Amazon gift card that I got for my birthday last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, and I spent it on family and a little bit on myself because it's
Yay.
birthday money. And and I just let them shop around and see what they wanted and if it was in the budget. And I mean, talent. What does that mean exactly?
So no, great question. Often what people say, and I'll say it this way, people say, as we're out here trying to help the world, every organization needs our time, talent, and treasure. So it could be like spending time or volunteering, your talent. Like you could maybe, and this is something I'm throwing out there, for me for Christmas, maybe you could play a song on your double bass.
There you
'Cause
go.
I love music. Or treasure, you donate money. So, but for family and stuff, because you have a list of people, and like you said, you kind of do a little bit of all of it, and I like that too. Because there's no right or wrong way. It's what's the plan. So you plan early to what am I going to do? Because you have a little brother. I mean, so he loves you so much. So you think, if he's near you, you don't say what you're going to get him. But yeah, so it's good.
As a matter of fact,
That's what we put it out.
please go ahead.
Did it freeze on you, Mr. Xavier? It may have frozen.
Let me just say
Okay.
right quick while we are getting that together that I absolutely failed to mention our very good brother's credentials as a minister.
Yes, sir.
And it is interesting to me that just one moment ago, Attorney Valencia Broadus mentioned time, talent, and treasure. And as a minister working with today's young people, do you find that we as a society are more prone towards being faith-driven, or do you have to really try to help young people and veterans to be faithful from your ministerial orientation as opposed to a peer orientation?
I think we, as a nation, we're failing people as when we get into the politic nation, because the politics wants to change the society, their nature.
Yes, sir.
Give them, hey, they can be this, they can do this, they can be whatever they want to be. But when God created us, He created us as being either male or female. But God didn't confuse us.
Now, and as a matter of fact, I took kind of a break while we were waiting for Brother Xavier. So if he's ready now, he can continue to answer that, because prayerfully we'll get you back. Would like to talk about that faith orientation, but
A little bit
Attorney
more.
Broadus.
No, excellent. So, to Mr. Mike and Mr. Xavier, one of the things that you all missed a little bit, and so I'll say this and then I want to ask you a question, is I was talking to Pastor LeBlanc regarding how can we help, veterans. And it's not that they need anything specific, but I really mean how can we interact? How can we engage? How can we participate with veterans? Is really what, and you all know I always see what can we do.
In about a minute each.
Absolutely, and thank you. And so I know there were some websites that I sent you guys, and you may have looked at, of different ways that we can work with and help veterans. Were there any of those ideas or websites that you were thinking, hey, Miss V, yeah, let's do one of these? Was there any activity that you were thinking that maybe you would enjoy us doing as a group to help our veterans?
When I read the article, the thing that stood out to me was it mentioned how they had this drop and give me 10 challenge where you, I guess, record yourself doing 10 push-ups. Yeah. And I just feel like, I don't know, it just made me like excited. Like I would really much participate in that challenge.
Absolutely.
Actually,
Good.
That's good. But so I'm hearing some more exercising, spending time walking, exercising, all of that, and recording it so we can laugh about it later or say yay about it. Okay, good. All right, Mr. Xavier, and I'm writing these things down just so you'll know, because we'll come back to them offline.
Okay.
Mr. Xavier, what did you find or find interesting in those options? All right.
Uh-oh. Is he muted or?
Mr.
Hello,
Quay,
Mr. Xavier.
We can't hear Mr. Xavier.
Hello?
Yes, please.
Sorry, cutting out. Alright, join back in. You drive along and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Come on in. No, I'm sorry, and I can repeat. So, of the options that I had shared with you guys, where they said different ways we could engage and help and volunteer with veterans, was there anything that just caught your attention, or is there another way that you think of that we could work with and engage with veterans to just, be there and get more familiar to be a part of their lives and they're our lives too?
Yes. I was thinking of another one because I used to do this all with my dad because he's at a BMW post. And they was asking what they did, ask them what they did, ask them what they were trying for, and mainly just like have a good conversation with them.
No.
Help it work out, like working with.
That's
Right.
excellent because, go ahead, Mr. Boyd.
No. We only have a couple of minutes. Let me let you go.
Well, I was going to say, because that's really what Mr. LeBlanc said. He said the main thing is, well, first what he said was, sometimes you just got to, just stand back. Well, y'all know me, I'm a literal. So I thought he meant basically stand back and don't bother me. But that's not what he meant. What he meant was kind of stand back and listen and let them talk to you. And then, share something. So both of what you both said is good because, not just our veterans, but our elders, they have stories and they have so much to teach us. And the more we can just be there in their presence and, soak up the wisdom and let them, pour energy on us is amazing. So, okay, Mr. Boyd, go ahead.
Yes, let me just say to you that our producer, DeQuay Wilson, has been very kind and very lenient. And I was remarking we were listening to an 8th grader with
Yes.
that level of sophistication and understanding. And cannot thank enough both of our young guests this morning, one on his way to college in a year or two, and the other 8th grade. Also, for your patience with us, Pastor LeBlanc, National Association of Black Veterans, trying to get all the technology together. We'll have to have you come back and do a better job of that. Any final 30-second remarks that you might give us?
Just hang in there.
Praise the Lord. Thank you so very, very much. Attorney Valencia brought us 30 seconds, and we'll go to DeQuay Wilson.
Excellent. Want to make sure that as we can, Pastor LeBlanc, Mr. Boyd, and then for our young leaders, over the holidays, if there are things happening, because we've got at least 10 young people and like 15 volunteers, and would really like to really find a way for us to come and just be with you, with the veterans. with our
Amen. Good. Thank you so very, very much, DeQuay Wilson.
So I want to remind our 7th and 8th grade students that you can win a monetary award from our sponsoring organization. Yes, we say organization on purpose, with purpose. Suits for Boots. Your essay title will be Heroes You Know You Didn't Know Were Heroes. Content will identify a veteran at your school who can be absolutely anyone, from a teacher, custodian, coach, cafeteria worker, absolutely anyone. Your essay is chosen and submitted by an adult to read on this Waive Your Grades program, you will be awarded a monetary prize. For entry or inquiry, please send an email to stootsforboots@gmail.com. That is STOOTSFORBOOTS@gmail.com. And I'd like to thank our listeners and our guests for joining us on your Stoots for Boots Waive Your Grades program. We come to you live every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. Central Standard Time at the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center right here in Kansas City, Missouri. I am your announcer, DeQuay Wilson. Now, our host, Carl Boyd, will close with Carl's commentary on academic patriotism, and his daily message for students in honor of our veterans from his book, Morning Messages.
Based upon time, I might have an opportunity to give our daily word. I have one for 366 days, and leap year is coming up in 2024, so I'll just do our daily message. December the 2nd, to students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day. They can disassemble, clean, repair, and reassemble the most sophisticated weaponry ever invented, and they can do it blindfolded. They just want you to pay attention in class with your eyes and your minds wide open. Thank you so very, very much, Reverend LeBlanc. Thank you, Attorney Broadus. Thank you, young men who are with us today. We got to get you back and get our technology in order. DeQuay Wilson. My name is Carl Boyd. Gracious God and wonderful Wanda, I'm on my way home.
All right, see you guys later.